Well, hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is News Channel Nebraska. My name's Eric McKay. Let's take a look at our top headlines today. We begin in southeast Nebraska, where authorities say 2 women from Florida were killed after a semi slammed into the back of their SUV. It happened Saturday on Highway 2 east of Syracuse. The Otto County Sheriff's Office says the SUV was stopped for what they're calling a road obstruction. The semi slammed into the back of the vehicle. Authorities say a 61-year-old and a 54-year-old were pronounced dead at the scene shortly after the crash. The driver of the semi was not hurt. Otto County deputies still investigating the crash with assistance from the State Patrol's crash reconstruction team. Douglas County officials, meanwhile, have identified the man killed in a crash on Friday. The sheriff's office saying Sunday that 55-year-old Seth Amundsen of Elkhorn was killed. He was found in his car, which was resting against a tree about 20 feet off a road north of Waterloo. Authorities say Amundsen was headed south when his car left the road and crashed into the tree. Sheriff's officials tell us neither speed nor alcohol use appear to have been factors. Authorities asking the public for help finding an inmate missing from Lincoln. State corrections officials say 40-year-old Kyle Pullen failed to return to the Community Corrections Center in Lincoln from work on Saturday. He's described as 5'11", 150 pounds with black hair and brown eyes, serving a 5 to 8 year sentence for a felony weapon conviction out of Douglas County. Anyone who has any info on his whereabouts is asked to call authorities. Well, crews in Baltimore have started working to remove the first piece of the Francis Scott Key Bridge from the water. The bridge collapsed last week when a 213 million pound cargo vessel slammed into it, killing 6 construction workers. The bodies of 4 victims have yet to be discovered, with dangerous conditions underwater slowing down the search process. Reed Binion has the latest developments.
This is going to be a long road. It's a very complex operation.
Maryland Governor Wes Moore laying bare the massive scope of the work still ahead following the Baltimore Bridge collapse.
We have a ship that is nearly the size of the Eiffel Tower that is now stuck within the channel that has the Key Bridge sitting on top of it.
Crews this weekend working on the north section of the Francis Scott Key Bridge, cutting it up in sections for removal in order to open a temporary restricted channel which would allow more vessels into the area to accelerate the recovery effort. The largest crane on the East Coast, the Chesapeake 1000, arrived Friday to help in that process. Clearing the channel would allow the search for the missing victims to continue.
Everyone's priority remains to locate the missing loved ones and get them to their families. And we want to do everything in our part in the Army Corps of Engineers to play a role in the governor's #1 priority.
Crews have also secured part of an underwater natural gas pipeline, isolating a section and intentionally releasing gas from it as a protective safety measure. Removing the debris is the first step in a long process toward opening the Port of Baltimore, a cargo channel critical to the local and national economies. In the meantime, ships are being rerouted to other ports. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Protect your private information now. That's the advice from experts after a massive AT&T data breach announced over the weekend. The company says it's in the process of notifying the affected customers, but experts say might be worth looking into the hack even if you haven't heard from the company. Amy Kiley has more.
This is quite a serious issue.
Experts say past and present AT&T users should act now to protect their data. The company says it's investigating how information from 73 million customers got onto the dark web. AT&T says it's now notifying those affected.
If you get a letter like that in the mail from someone that you have entered into a contract with, you need to take time to read the letter.
If you're not notified, just don't assume automatically that you're safe. You need to investigate this.
The breach appears to involve data from 2019 or earlier. It could include names, passwords, social security numbers, birth dates, and more.
Once a bad guy has that, a criminal has that information, perhaps they could pose as you and call up one of your bank accounts or health accounts.
This former NSA general counsel says if you think you've been hacked, 1, reset your password. 2, ask a credit reporting agency to put a fraud alert on your account. 3, consider a credit freeze to block someone from opening a credit card in your name.
Any hacker who is both skilled enough and lucky enough to get inside a telecom company is going to find a digital treasure chest.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
April Fool's Day bringing some moisture to north central and northwestern Nebraska. Take a look at this video from Valentine. Nebraska 511 reported this morning highways in that area completely covered with snow. Anyone who needed to travel being told to make sure to allow extra time. Also, we'd love to see pictures and videos of the weather in your area. Send them to us through the News Channel Nebraska Facebook page or email us news@newschannelnebraska.com. Well, in nearly half of U.S. states, you'll need a six-figure household income if you want to buy a house. A new analysis from Bankrate.com found buyers need to make more than $100,000 to comfortably afford a typical median-priced home in 22 states and Washington, D.C. Analysts assessed affordability as whether mortgage payments could be made, assuming a 20% down payment with a 30-year fixed rate. They didn't factor in closing costs, home maintenance costs, or non-housing item costs. So all buyers have to take that into consideration as well. Breaking it down, Californians need the highest household income to buy a house. Nebraska was middle of the road, $82,000 worth of household income necessary. Remarkably, that's $17,000 higher than Iowa. A new report shows 1 in 6 American adults are considered binge drinkers. The University of Wisconsin's Population Health Institute published its annual report based on information from 2021. Now, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention defines binge drinking as 4 or more drinks in one sitting for a woman, 5 or more among men. Women considered heavy drinkers if they consume 8 or more drinks in a week. Men would have to knock back 15 or more in a week. The study also issued rankings for the places with the heaviest drinking problems. Wisconsin ranked number 1, followed by the District of Columbia, Montana, North Dakota, and Iowa. As for Nebraska, we were 6th, with 22% of adults self-reporting binge drinking. That's more than 1 in 5. Broken down by county, Wayne County had the most binge drinkers, followed by Douglas, Lancaster, Sarpy, Saunders, and Buffalo counties. While drinking is a problem in some localities, researchers also found that 19 states, including Nebraska, actually lowered their excessive drinking rates from 2020 to 2021. The Winnebago Tribe's economic development arm getting a $2 million award for their efforts. The Yield Giving Company announced the award to the Ho-Chunk Community Development Corporation. Some 6,300 nonprofits applied to Yield Giving's open call for grants, and Ho-Chunk was among 279 to receive a top-tier rating. 82 organizations in the next highest tier got $1 million each. Ho-Chunk says the tribe has a lot to be proud of, but say they also have a lot of work left to do.
We're so excited and we're so thankful for this generous gift for our community. We do have a lot of issues. We have a lot of health disparities, and so a donation like this really is going to make an impact for our entire tribe as a whole.
The Winnebago Tribe's experienced huge growth in its middle class over the past few decades, but about 30% of its members still live in poverty. Earth says through their farmers market, Ho-Chunk's tackling both health disparities and food sovereignty.
And through our farmers market, now we're able to touch on not only agriculture and tribal farming, but also our healthcare system, offering the fresh fruits and vegetables and the Indian corn, things that will restore the health of our people.
Ho-Chunk is marking its 20th anniversary this year, working to improve economic, educational, and social opportunities for tribal members. National Vietnam War Veterans Day was Friday, and the Dakota Santee Sioux Nation honored its veterans. The ceremony held at the Tribal Honoring Monuments in a Santee village. The special honoring was held for Marine Vietnam veteran Basil Heth Jr., who passed away in September. Served as a crew chief and gunner for a helicopter in Vietnam. As one of the most decorated Native American Vietnam veterans, he logged over 1,500 missions and was presented 66 air medals in his service. Heth's brother talked about the service he provided to the tribe and all veterans across the country.
Up until his passing, he's always been in service to the people of the tribe, to all veterans.
Zafir says his brother was honored around 20 years ago on the Yankton Sioux Reservation. Heth given a chief's bonnet for his service. Heth's total tour 19 months and 27 days. About 7 million Vietnam veterans still alive today. Well, nobody won Saturday night's Powerball drawing. The jackpot now nearly $1 billion, and that's no April Fool. There is a drawing today, estimated to win someone $975 million with a cash value of $471 million. Now, no one won the big jackpot, but at least 4 people matched numbers to win $1 million. Saturday marked 38 consecutive drawings now without a jackpot winner. And finally, you can bet that auto mechanics have seen a little bit of everything, but nothing like what one shop in the capital city saw last week. Check this out. A1 Automotive says they found a nest of baby squirrels in a truck they were working on. They then set out on a mission to reunite the babies with their mom. Kendall Warnock of A1 says the shop carefully removed the squirrels, contacted the owner of the truck to return them back to their home with the hope of their mom being close by. Well, officials say when they set the box out, took no more than 15 minutes for mom to come out and collect her babies one at a time. Now, there's no word on whether or not squirrel extraction is a standard part of their multi-point inspection or if it ended up costing extra for labor. You can stay up to date with the very latest by following us online. Head to newschannelnebraska.com. Click on the news tab there. You can also follow us on X. Like us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day. You're watching News Channel Nebraska.